Time for a tropical update. We're going to focus a lot on Milton. We'll talk about other things going on in the tropics as well. Yesterday, Milton became a Category 5 hurricane, the strongest hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico since Rita back in 2005. So very strong hurricane. It's weakened a little bit overnight and is currently a Category 4 hurricane as we got that 5 a.m. update. As we go through the morning, we may see it tick back up briefly to a Category 5. It's expected to fall back to a 4 as we go through the day on Wednesday before making landfall Wednesday evening into early Thursday as a major hurricane. Possible Cat 4 or strong Cat 3. We'll see as it makes landfall. Then as it moves across Florida, it will weaken and eventually kind of merge or get kind of picked up by a frontal boundary that is there and continue off to the east as a post-tropical system. This is a potential life-threatening storm system, potentially deadly, and it is nothing to play games with for residents in Florida. Take a look at this kind of color-enhanced radar satellite image. I wanted to show you the eye here yesterday. Look at how clearly defined it was. It's been weakening through the overnight. It kind of got dirty a little bit there and kind of collapsed a bit, but it looks like the eye may be coming back as we're getting some of these brighter colors back towards the center, so we may see that eye kind of re-emerge a little bit later today. We're certainly going to be watching for that. It is also starting to make that move to the east-northeast, and eventually it's going to turn more to the northeast towards Tampa. You see the hurricane warnings up for central Florida along the coast. There are tropical storm warnings up through the Big Bend and South Florida as well. Now, as the system moves along, those tropical storm force winds extending out from the center expected to reach the Florida coast as we reach the late hours of Wednesday morning. The stronger tropical storm force winds come in later Wednesday afternoon towards Sarasota and Tampa, and eventually you can see those hurricane force winds expected as we go later Wednesday night and into Thursday. So this is what we're looking at. The system does weaken as it crosses back out over the Atlantic. Storm surge alerts, warnings in place. You can see for these areas from the Big Bend down through Tampa and Sarasota. Again, with the system approaching and that action, the wind action kind of pushing a lot of the water up into the Big Bend area and certainly into the Tampa Bay area as well. So real concern for flooding and potential storm surge here. You can see there could be 12 feet or more of storm surge associated with this system as it comes in anywhere from Port Charlotte up through Tampa Bay and just off to the north there. All right, on the backside of the system as it's exiting, some water getting pushed back towards Daytona, maybe towards Jacksonville. There could be some areas that receive up to 6 feet of storm surge, according to the Hurricane Center's projections. Now, this is a model that the Hurricane Center uses to show potential storm surge flooding, how much inundation there could be. And these areas shaded in orange and red along the area, you can see greater than 6 and some places greater than 9 feet of flooding expected over some of the land in the low-lying areas. So a very dangerous situation. That's why residents are being told to evacuate. You can see down through Punta Gorda and back towards Fort Myers. Again, these inlets all susceptible to the storm surge and the flooding potential. You can see it's not quite as great as we go down towards Marco Island, but still flooding will be possible. Models all in very good agreement as it brings the system through central Florida, none of them bringing it farther north or keeping it farther to the south. They're all lined up bringing it towards Tampa. So a very good likelihood of that system impacting central Florida. Plan on it. It is going to be a very difficult stretch Wednesday night into early Thursday for central Florida. All right, there's another area here with a 20% chance of development. We've got another one out here to the east. Both of these areas, not a great chance. And again, this is just a rainmaker for South Florida. It's kind of along an old dying frontal boundary. It is not Milton. It is not associated with that. It's another area. Don't know if it'll develop or not. Could bring some rain eventually to Bermuda, but we're not really worried about that. We are obviously focused on Milton for Florida. Over in the eastern Atlantic, there's another area, a 20% chance. Not really a problem. It's going to turn off to the north anyway. And then you have Leslie out there, a tropical storm. It was a hurricane. It is weakened to a tropical storm, and Leslie posing no threat. So Milton is the one area that we are really concerned with. Continue to check back with 13 News Now. We will keep you updated on those potential impacts for Florida.